G'day folks, I'm the Aussie Traveller with just a little bit of an update on what's going on with tourism in Indonesia, especially in the month of July. Well, I don't have a lot of good news for you. In fact, not much at all. But what has happened is that the president of Indonesia has announced publicly, and I'm reading this from the official documents, it says Bali will reopen borders for tourism in July, confirmed by Indonesian president. Now, we knew this was coming. We knew that it was going to be around June, July, that there was going to be an official announcement. Well, it has happened. The president, Mr. Widodo, of Indonesia has confirmed that tourism will open in July. But what does that mean? So this is good news about tourism opening up in July, announced by the president. So it's confirmed. It's going to happen. Tourism is about to begin in July in Indonesia and Bali. Now, what does this mean? Well, Bali will reopen to tourists in July, but the requirements and the restrictions have not been released yet. So it is official that Indonesia is going to open up to tourism. But what's not clear at this stage is, and I'm reading this off the official website, the requirements and the restrictions have not been released yet. And they haven't released yet on what countries are going to be invited to do that bubble between Indonesia and the invited countries. We're still not 100% sure yet, but we are this much closer in finding out. I also got this reconfirmed from the Ministry of Tourism as well, and they are confident that the tourism industry will start opening in July. So that's a double whammy, basically. The president has announced and the Ministry of Tourism have announced that tourism is going to begin in July, probably towards the end of July. When we're going to know what countries are going to be invited still hasn't been announced at this stage, but we are predicting China, Middle East, places like Norway, places with very low COVID problems. Australia won't be part of that invitation for the first stage anyway, not that we think so, or New Zealand. There is a problem getting out of Australia at the moment and New Zealand. You do need that permission from the government to leave Australia with a valid and a good excuse. It is possible and it can be done, and I am going to do a show on that. So let's wrap it up very quickly. The announcement has been made by the president of Indonesia that tourism is going to start towards the end of July. Who that's going to be, what countries that's going to be, we're still not 100% sure. They haven't made that announcement yet, but we are onto it. We have got our eye on it, so please stay tuned to the show. And as soon as we know, I'm going to let you know, because I'm getting excited. Things are starting to progress. Good note too that COVID in Indonesia is doing very well. A lot of the population has been vaccinated, which is a good thing. The older folks there in Indonesia have been vaccinated. They're actually doing a better job than Australia and New Zealand with their vaccination program. That's promising, because that's all a big bonus for all those countries that want to come into Indonesia. They probably will start looking at people that are vaccinated. That's probably going to happen. If not the country itself, the airlines are probably going to want to have some sort of passport showing that you have been vaccinated. Is that going to happen straight away? Maybe not. They will roll that over a period of time. But eventually, to get on an aeroplane, you will have to show that you've had the jab, you've had the vaccination. Of what type of vaccination that is, it could be any of them, doesn't matter. but you probably will have to show documentation that you have had that vaccination to get on an aeroplane. Maybe not the first stage, but probably the second stage, third stages, you will need to prove to the airlines that you've had that vaccination. And some countries too are going to make that compulsory to come into their country. You're going to have to show evidence that you've had that vaccination. That's probably going to happen. It's not documented yet, but I think you'll find that the leaders of the country and the Ministry of Tourism governments are going to make that compulsory. Little tip for you. Anyway, it's exciting news. We're not there yet as far as everyone can come into Indonesia, but it is happening. Tourists will be allowed to start coming into Indonesia from the end of July. We're just not sure which countries are going to be part of that program. So stay tuned. I'm the Aussie Traveller. Be safe.